And I told everyone who was jumping on that we're doing it differently today. We're going to do more of like an embodied practice than just like dancing around. So you guys can share what you're grateful for. I'm making sure that the new Facebook Live is working and fingers crossing that it'll go in the group perfectly. Okay, so Belinda, grateful to be feeling good despite not being able to sleep last night. Okay, awesome. Good morning from Australia, yay! Admittedly is grateful to be feeling a sense of inner peace, lovely. And Alyssa, I'm grateful for the expansion of my family, yay! Are we like telling everyone? Are we like that emoji is kind of I can't hear you because you're muted.
Well, you know, because I texted you.
Yeah, but I'm like, the emoji kind of looks like things, but I'm not going to be the one who's just going to give away secrets.
We'll just leave it with my very cryptic comments. But
Cool.
yes, thank you for
good.
being so excited.
Yay! You're welcome.
I was like, she's asking us to be grateful for things. I can't not put that one down.
Yes. Okay, and I want to make sure that the new Facebook's working. Okay, so I'm going to get everyone to do an embodiment practice. So if you guys can sit somewhere that you feel comfortable, we'll start there and I'll figure out the technology because that's always fun. Okay, it's looking like it's doing things. And it says it's live on Facebook, but then it's not looking live in the group. There, now it is. Okay, cool. Yay! I just wanted to make sure that the technology was doing all the good things. Cool. So I'm going to get everyone to shut their eyes and take some deep cleansing breaths. And just connecting to your breath. You can put your feet flat on the floor. Feel that sensation of having both of your feet grounded on the floor, grounded on the earth. And just breathing into that space. Just noticing anything that's tense or stiff in your body and sending some extra love, some extra breath there. Just really grounding you and your body. If you notice anything stiff, you can kind of roll it or move it back and forth or stretch it out as you breathe. And you can play with your breath. You can play with deep inhalations. Breathing even more air in and exhaling even more fully out. Just playing with your breath, playing with the variety. And then you can return to your normal and natural breathing, whatever's feeling the most comfortable and the most good in your body right now. It's just breathing, connecting to your breath, and noticing that we always trust that our breath is going to be there. We're not worried that when we exhale that the next breath isn't going to support us. That with every single time that you exhale, you trust and you know that you'll be able to inhale right afterwards. And just connecting to that infinite and limitless supply of air that keeps you alive, that keeps you thriving in this body. And then let's add some gratitude for the breath, that you get to breathe, that you can get to connect with yourself. If you're really sensitive, you can notice how the breath feels in your body. If there's certain energies, certain places it lights up, just notice how the air travels into your body. And just noticing new awarenesses with every inhale and every exhale. And connecting to the power of your breath, that it's literally what's keeping you alive right now. That it connects you with all living beings, that everyone breathes. And with this simple, free connection to your breath, it's something that you can always return to feel abundant in this moment. Because we're going to be talking about money today, and you're not concerned as you exhale that you're like holding it in and holding your breath and preventing it from leaving because you're afraid that the next breath might not circulate. So before you guys open your eyes, just notice any resistance to just even connecting to your breath and connecting to this infinite flow. Notice any other little awarenesses that came up. And then you can open your eyes when you're ready. And I'd actually really love to know like what came up for people, especially if you like had resistance to it and stuff like that, because we're talking about money today and a lot of people are feeling like lack and scarcity and different things. So if you like have trouble with that of like connecting, like I so want to like know so we can clear things, because it's like we trust that like when you turn on the faucet that you're going to have an infinite supply of water coming through, clean water, in which most people will like kill on this planet to get clean water. A lot of people have that in their worlds, and we just always have this infinite supply of breath, and you're not like, I don't know, is God going to give me the next one? Will that still be there? Is there enough oxygen in the room for everyone else to be here too? Like, it's like we breathe, we flow, we trust, it circulates. That's the natural order, in and out, and it circulates. Awesome.
Yeah, I've never had the breath be likened to abundance. That really works for me. Most abundance metaphors, like I get them, but they don't like translate as easily. And this one just sort of, it just clicked. It totally translates. And it feels really good. It feels really, really good. It was a really good metaphor.
Yay! Lovely. Yeah, I just felt really strongly called to like not dance to do the dance party today, to be like, let's just be in our bodies and like we're humans and like be in the body. Love that. Okay. So earlier Belinda was like, OMG, yay, congratulations, Alyssa. So she got it. Um so Derek shares that felt so good. I love that analogy. Kelly says, love that example, Laura. Yes. The popsicle, Derek. I like that you're taking care of yourself. Belinda, yes, so important to breathe. Yeah, I just had a hot bath, so I feel like a popsicle. Yay! Awesome. Just realize that spending money, giving yourself what you need is important too, to keep the flow going, even if your focus is on receiving money. Yes. So we're going to be talking a lot about money and abundance and all the wonderful things today, because we're in month 2. Like, yay! Super, super, super excited. So yeah, we're basically talking about abundance today. I technically have the screen share thing, which we can tune into our homework from last time. Let's do a quick screen share. Is that working for people? Cool. Yay, thank you for the thumbs up. So this is our module 3. So our homework for last time was the lead generation, the getting there out there in the world, because you get to connect with your soulmate ideal clients. And then also the question to yourself of like, how are you growing outside your comfort zone? How do you get to show up for yourself and be even more expansive today and just make those baby steps outward, one step at a time? So then today we're focused on creating your abundant identity, which I'm super, super, super excited about. And I love, love, love that was like already the energy popping up in the group. So like Robin's Facebook Live and Kelly's live as well. I'm like, I love that we're just always on the same wavelength. Like that's so awesome. Okay, and Alyssa says, thanks, Belinda. Found out last week. Super exciting. Okay, so I made some comments around Kelly's energy in particular, so we can clear that just off the get-go so that we don't have like heavy, stagnant, lack energies preventing us from moving forward. So you guys also want to like pop in the chat anything else that's coming up around like lack and fears and stuff that you want to get cleared. We can just add on to the list there, just as like a general clearing at the get-go. So this is specifically with Kelly's energy, but also anyone else who's feeling this as well. We can just do the group clearing for all the things and all the things that are related to it. So even if you're like, oh, I'm not feeling that around this, but I am around this, it's like, we're just going to clear all the stuff. So do you want to clear, release, and let go of any scarcity and lack that's been coming up around clients, around talking to money, having a better relationship with money, and having money dates, and to clear, release, and let go of any and all times where you've resisted having a money date because you feel like crap about it, because you don't feel in alignment, you don't feel good about money, and that you're in a negative or unhealthy or abusive relationship feeling sense with your money right now, and that you can clear, release, and let go of all of that. And if you'd like that, you can say yes.
Yes.
And deep breaths, because we also get to embody this, that every single time you exhale, you're like, yeah, I can let go. And this is also like such a powerful time where like, so the people at least in North America who are experiencing fall, I know that Australia is experiencing different things, but you can still tap into our collective energy that like we're playing with. Where it's like literally the trees are just letting go of the dead things. They're just like, oh, this doesn't serve me anymore, and they let it go, and it just falls and floats to the bottom. So like even if you want to go on nature walks and set your intention to clear things, to clear lack, to clear all the stuff that you've been holding on to, preventing the new from coming in, do that. Hug a tree that's just letting go of things and be like, can you help me let go of things? I'm a human and I'm scared. Like I'm letting go of my lack belief systems and scarcity and fears about clients, or letting go of my current ideal client to get my new ideal client. Like whatever's coming up, allow yourself to be supported by this energy. And I love that so many people are going through very similar things in this group. So do you also want to clear, release, and let go of any and all negative experiences that you've had in the past around trying to set up a money date, trying to like this trying energy of like trying to organize your bookkeeping or your accounting or your paperwork, or trying to like organize the stuff for your packages or what you should price it at, and like all the confusion, all the heavy junky energy and emotions that just are in your system that are ready to be released. And if you'd like to do all of that, you can say yes. Do you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all junk within your body around seeing credit card bills being high, or looking at the cost of things and feeling like the cost or expenses of things, of you receiving support, of you making a move, of you traveling, of you investing in more support, of whatever you're desiring, of it being like a heavy cost or expense and outflow that you're like in resistance to being in? And if you'd like to clear all of that energy, you can say yeah. Okay, and I'll check the chat. And we're also going to do a body clearing because there's some heaviness showing up for people in different places. So we'll do that for sure. Okay. I want to get stuff cleared around, okay, stress with goals, fear of becoming manipulative with clients or pushy if I have high goals of my own, fear of going only for the goals instead of creating win-win scenarios. That's interesting. Okay, so do you want to clear, release, and let go all of that stress, the worry, and the fear that negative things that are happening in the coaching industry will be told to you, or feel like you are forced to do them, that you can clear, release, and let go of that fear, and truly allow yourself to be in alignment with your heart and soul's calling to do this work, and that you can choose to be a heart-centered salesperson as you offer your gifts to the world, and that you can trust that your ideal soulmate clients who are ready, willing, able, and excited to invest with you are the ones you'll attract in, and that you can trust at an even deeper level that you will create win-win scenarios with them. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And I'm curious, just because this can happen, if you've been burnt by a coach before who did that to you in particular, like we can do clearings because I know other people have done that, or if you've done that before and you're like nervous of like being forced into doing it again. So if you want to give me any more details about that fear, there feels like some more like sticky pieces there. And you also want to clear, release, and let go of the fear of having to work so much, of always being in your masculine and needing to output, do, and like be in workaholic, almost burnout mode in order to create the financial results that you desire. And if you'd like to clear that, you can say yes. Yay, I love all the things that people are posting. Okay. So then, Robin, I'd like to clear around space for work. Yeah, I would like to clear that around space for work, debate around commercial space. Interesting. So do you want to clear, release, and let go any and all fears that are coming up around that, and have an even more clear perspective from your higher power and your highest self around what is supportive for you right now at this time in your life and your business around commercial space, and what will be most supportive for you and thriving for your highest and most good? Would you like that? Awesome. Okay, this is fun. Like I'm bopping around the comments. Okay, so then Kelly shared, love that. I'm doing nature walks all the time, every day, and can use that. Leaves are falling everywhere. Yes. And it's so pretty and it's so gentle and it's so easy. And just being like, yes, I get to receive this energy. Like I just like, oh, that doesn't serve me. La, 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 la. Float down. It's so pretty, so gentle. Okay. And then Whitley, feeling afraid, not sure about the next step, afraid that I'm going to go back to lack and things aren't going to work out, feeling behind, feeling like I'm feeling, or falling behind, sorry, in the group. So do you want to clear, release, and let go of that fear, the fear that this isn't going to work out, that this was like too good to be true, that you can take some steps forward, but then it'll like constrict and contract back, and that you can clear, release, and let go of this like short-term energy where it's like, well, I can sustain this for a short term. Like I can have good things for a little while, but then it gets shitty. Do you want to just clear, release, and let go of that like up, down, like gets really good and then gets really bad pattern in your system, and allow yourself to know what it looks like and feels like to continue getting better and better? So like, not that it'll be linear and just like amazing and awesome forever, but like essentially what is more realistic in the world, instead of like all the way up or like woo crazy, can be like better and then contraction and interesting things and lessons and yay expansion and like a little bit up, a little bit down, but on the whole going way better. So you want to know what that looks like and feels like to integrate more into your body, into your support system, within your family, within yourself and your like spirit team, and that you can allow yourself to be supported as you grow and expand without creating negative stories or downward spiraling in them. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And for anyone else who feels like they're behind what their expectations of themselves are, behind other people in the group, behind on the course material, that you can just clearly let go of that scarcity that you're like trying to like, it's really the like doggy paddle in water that you're like drowning and it's like hard, and then you'll finally get up for air, but then it's like hard again, that you can just clearly let go whatever that pattern has been in your life where it's really difficult during certain periods and like you're just kind of drowning. Do you want to just clearly let go of that and any and all past life trauma around that experience? And if you'd like that, you can say yes. Okay. I'm getting so many things that pop in, but then I'm like, okay, where else am I at? And then as a conscious piece, like you have infinite access to the stuff in the group. So like trust that what you're called to in the moment, you're called to. Like we literally had so many conversations, particularly with Marcella in the last group, being like, it's your good girl. Like your good girl wants to like hit all the targets and attend all class and get perfect attendance and do all the questions in the homework book and get 100% on all the tests and the quizzes and all the things, because then that means you'll get success and high paying job and graduation and move on to the next level and all those things. That is how the old paradigm works, which understands, and we get to love our good little girls and our A+ overachiever students within ourselves and be like, good job, you're trying to do all the things. And in this world where we're working in coaching and healing and transformation, it's so important to be like, yeah, I just need my 2 millimeter shift. And especially in a group format, it's like joining the call, the time, the exact place that you feel called to is going to give you your exact piece that you need that day. Like I've had so many times in my life where I'm like, I stopped reading a book, like all of a sudden stopped listening to a book, and then a life experience happened where I'm like, exactly where I came back to in the book was exactly what I needed for the lesson I was just learning. And I'm like, if I had literally just kept reading, I wouldn't have any life experience to be like, oh yeah, that's an important gold nugget there. But because I had taken like a month, started reading something else, and then came back to it, felt called to it at that time, it was the exact piece of wisdom that I needed. And it was everything that I needed to understand a bunch of different things. So it's like you get to trust at a deeper level that the calls that you get to attend live, that the ones that you feel called to watching the replays of, that the bonuses, all those things, like that you get to show up for what's supportive of you. And like Whitley in particular, like you're a hard worker, like you show up, you do your work. If you were just like, I come to groups and I do like one thing ever and like never ever post and like totally hide, I would be saying totally different things to you, but that's not the energy that you're in, and that's not the energy of most people in the containers that I have for clients. So like trust yourself. Like you just had a really big life change, and you're like, you have children involved in it, so you get to like be loving to yourself and be gentle and like have space for you to have this transition. Like it's only been a month like that you've moved. Like that's fucking amazing, and you just quantum leaped. So you also get to like breathe and be like, okay, this is where I'm at right now. Okay. Okay, want to be able to manifest and not manifest the equivalent in debt. Yes, definitely. I could try and ask for help. Okay, I saw more come in. Okay, I don't know if the thing that you want privately, are you cool with me still clearing it in front of everyone here? Or did you mean to hit the private thing?
No, it's fine, Lori. You can, yeah.
Oh no, it was Marcella who had messaged me privately. Okay. But we can totally clear the stuff that was above. I'm just seeing a bunch of people's names and I'm like, I'd rather like get it all together and not be like, oh, that was like half of your story and more of it was further down. Scrolling. Okay, so do you want to clear, release, and let go of this kind of counterbalance self-sabotage? And this can be for anyone else who has anything around self-sabotage, where you can take a step forward, but then you're taking a step back, where you get to increase your income over here, but then you manifest an expense, a debt, unexpected outflows of cash in different ways. That you can clearly release and let go of any and all patterns around that, where you can't allow life to be that good, and that you need to like put a cap on it, that glass ceiling and that like upper limiting that you're having with whatever area in your life. So that could be around money, it could be something else with like a relationship or types of clients that you're having. So whatever like self-sabotage where you're like, oh, I get an enhancement, but then it like goes right back. Do you want to clear, release, and let go of those patterns? And if you'd like that, you can say yes. Okay, so Belinda's, yay, I'm preparing to move out in the next couple of weeks and keep thinking about how I will survive on the basic government income without the guarantee of clients yet. Okay, so do you want to move yourself out of that survival mode, like a heavy root energy of how will I survive without being here, and how will I make it on my own? Do you want to clear, release, and let go of those self-doubts, worries, and inner criticisms around that? And that you can clearly release and let go of your identity where you were just trying to make it, like just trying to survive, just getting by, and allow yourself to truly thrive by moving in your own inspired action steps. And if you would like that, you can say yes. And you want to clear, release, and let go of the fear of the unknown, of moving out, of new things in the future, of not knowing exactly how that's all going to play out, and the uncertainty that's coming with it, especially around your money, and that you can allow yourself to receive with even more ease the support of the universe in moving forward. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. Okay, and then I'd invite you to like change your perspective on that of like, how am I going to survive on the basics with the government income, to being like, okay, I set my intention for this and I totally didn't think this was ever going to work for me. And now I'm like just being supported by the universe for this. So of course, just like I'm randomly being supported by the government right now in a bunch of really cool ways, of course I'm going to be like continuously supported by the universe in random ways and expected ways and in all the ways in between. So you can like shift your mindset to that. Okay, and then Alyssa, clearing any concern or fear around rearranging priorities for my professional, like around my new addition, who is already making me tired, so my bandwidth is going to change, but I won't be able to predict those ways or what I'm going to need. Yes, do you want to clear, release, and let go of the uncertainty and the nervousness around it and all of the unknowns that are coming through, and allow yourself to even more deeply ground into the divine timing and the divine order of your life, and allow yourself to flow with that. You like that? And you want to know what it looks like and feels like to trust yourself, to trust your higher self and your creator, God, source energy, and that you can move one baby step at a time. Would you like that? And do you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all judgments or shoulds or comparison around other people's stories or experiences or what you think that you should be doing as a business owner? Would you like that? And do you want to know what it looks like and feels like to understand at a deeper level why certain pieces fall into place at the right times, like deeper understanding of the divine order of your life and the reasons for the lessons that you're learning as you move forward, so that you can really like mine the lessons for gold, that you can benefit from the different pieces that are at play as you move forward on your life and in your journey in all aspects of both business and life, and that you can give yourself permission to allow it to be even better and even easier than you had previously thought. Do you like that? And then to be a way shower for others of how it gets to be, of how you get to show up and how you can choose to show up for others. Would you like that? Okay, so then Lavinia. Not sure if this has helped, or sorry, not sure if this happened to me in the past. I rather feel my former boss had sort of expected that from his employees. Okay. Not sure if it's true or if it's only my perception though. But as an employee, I worked with clients who were not my ideal clients. I felt forced to do so because I had no other choice. Oh, now I remember I actually had a solo coaching session, which was just too expensive while my erotic persona was taking control over me. I realized that at some point, and I sort of made it good again, my client was happy, but I was the one who felt bad. Okay, so you want to just clear, release, and let go of all of that old energy, those old memories and emotions that were coming to the surface around that, and the fear of being out of control and being forced to do things that don't feel in alignment with you in any way. And if you'd like to clear that, you can say yes. And you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all other fears of your own nature, your self-criticism of yourself, of your erotic persona, of you as you continue to grow and expand and develop different levels of yourself and different upgrades and different like ways of being as an entrepreneur and a business owner, and that you can allow yourself permission to play with them without judging them or like putting a burden on them not being able to like make decisions, or like judging them before they really get to like show their like positive and benefits to you, that you can allow yourself to it's kind of like integrate them so that you can be a more full expression of yourself, and that you can always move through the lens of like win-win scenarios and like unconditional love for yourself and others and the planet, knowing that you are one with oneness energy, and that anything that you do to yourself or anyone else, it's affecting everyone in the exact same way. And if you would like that deeper understanding from your higher power, you can say yes. Okay. And then Whitley says, thanks for that. And then Terry says, so many people in the group are moving or have moved. Maybe I'm next. I think you are, which is super exciting. Barcelona U is so like right there. Awesome. And then Marcella says, Derek, I'm moving out in November. I love that. And Kelly, I'll be moving back to San Diego within the next few months. Yay! I love the energy. Yay. Wonderful. Okay, so anything else that was coming up for people? Or anything that integrated and you're like, oh, there's like a deeper level? We can also go into the body next. Go deeper. Yeah.
That totally, thank you, Laura. Especially the piece around being a way shower, that completely resonated with me. And I'm just getting this clarity like now, like I really want to be here. I want to stay here. I like need this container. I like want to be held by this container, because it's going to support everything. And even though I believe that there's no either or, like it doesn't have to be personal or business, it can be both. And I just was really, really scared that I wouldn't be able to manage both in a way that would honor all of what needed to get honored, which of course my priority is my body and the health of my little, but you know, and just like mind blowing, you know, this new way of doing it. But you'll appreciate this as well. I'm gonna get emotional, but I'm such a stand for people to be allowed to be gloriously messy and sloppy humans. Yes. And I was really afraid to launch a program during pregnancy. And what a beautiful opportunity to launch a program for healers, because I don't have to be perfect. Like I already have the excuse as to why it's not that you need excuses to not be perfect, but there was this idea around like, Alyssa, just tell your people what's going on. They're all going to be female healers anyway. Like, you're not going to be able to keep this from them. They're going to want to know. So, you know, just tell them. And it's okay to have a sloppy launch, whatever that means, right? Like the technology goes wonky, and why don't I just use this as an opportunity to give myself extra grace? You know, and give the container extra grace, give the technology extra grace, give the participants extra grace, because we're all going to be overperforming perfectionistic healers anyway, who want to have better relationships with their clients. Oh my God, I love everyone who's like commenting. Thank you so much. Like, I just like, I feel like, you know, 2 weeks ago when y'all were supporting me so well, I just felt so loved. So thank you. You all really, all these comments mean so much to me. And I was definitely one of those overperforming perfectionistic, you know, good girls, and have been working on relaxing that grip and feeling safe doing so, and wanting to give that permission to other high performers, that like being a high performer doesn't, like being highly effective. Oh, you're welcome, Marcela. Being highly effective doesn't necessarily mean you have to be perfect. Like that's actually not the exchange that we need to make to be impactful. And me too, Marcella. I've been terrified to launch, especially right now. And I'm afraid that it was going to crash. I was afraid that no one's going to show up, you know, like that I'm going to handle it so badly that people won't feel like I'm a actual professional. Like, not that because I'm a bad teacher, but just the service delivery gets wonky or the weirdness. So it was really fun to be on the call with you, Laura, when we got Zoom bombed.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And you get to like literally like so many people reach out to me and they're like, you embody this. They're like, you actually like, you're not just saying, oh, this is what you do if a hater comes. You literally got like bombarded with a very rare circumstance and you were just like sending them love. They're like, fuck, I need to learn from you. I'm like, you get to mine it for the goal. They'd be like, cool, just learned a lot of things. Gotta like prevent that from happening in the future because that was not ideal. And embody
Yeah.
like, ooh, I just literally embodied that for everyone else who's watching. So you don't have to go through it. Like, use all your lessons.
And this other word around integration is coming up. Like, I'm rearranging my office and I just had this insight that I wanted a new chair to support my body. That would be really delicious and nice.
Yeah.
But realizing that I want to make space for my daughter, like, so that her bassinet can be in here and that she's an integrated part of, there's no reason why I can't teach while she's sleeping next to me.
Yes.
You know, like, that's also part of that doesn't have to be part of the either or. She can be a totally integrated part. And that's why I became an entrepreneur. That's why I went out on my own, was not have to choose and not feel like I have to be torn in a million directions, and how being integrated is actually just going to make me stronger. And it's just going to create I think it's going to create a more powerful experience for everyone, not just me. And I think it's important that especially girls get to see their moms in their genius work. You know, like, how powerful is that?
Yes. Super exciting. So yeah, a couple things that were coming through, and I shared some of this, but like also for the whole group, because we have a lot of women here who can like be in this age of like potentially becoming moms and stuff. So like, there are certain people who love hiring coaches when they're pregnant, because they're a fucking portal right now. Like, they're literally like creating like the portal between this world and this one, and they're like epic and awesome. And like, there's like, I've looked up to people who are moms who I'm like, thank you for having the baby on your side as you're doing it. And I've also been on calls with people who are like, oh, sorry, my daughter's here. And I'm like, thank you for letting your daughter be sitting there drawing while we're on this like marketing, like when I did market research with people and stuff like that. I'm like, when I was like helping other people, I'm like, thank you for embodying that like, as long as you're not in your like sacred coaching container. And I'm even in groups where moms are like, right now with COVID, when our kids burst in the room and everyone's crying, we all kind of laugh, because it happens for me as a coach and it happens for my clients all day long as well. And like, they all just normalize it instead of being like, no, this is the professional business world, and children that are literally coming up to then become adults don't ever, like, they're separate and they need to hide and go away and little and blah, blah, blah. So like, there's certain containers where you're like, yeah, if you're walking someone through meditation, you might want to have a babysitter or a nanny or like someone else like support the baby for an hour. And the rest of the time, if you want to like all of a sudden go live, I'm like, I used to tune into videos because someone was just having the cutest baby on their like hip as they're like going live. I'm like, of course. I'm like, that's amazing. And like, when people would apologize and be like, sorry, my daughter's over here doing this, I'm like, thank you for being a mom and still showing up and doing your work in the world. It's so important. Like, the whole climate change thing, and I know that we're getting bigger into our visions and stuff, like literally in climate change documentaries, they're like, women being empowered is one of the biggest things that's going to heal the fucking planet. So
and
like,
my kids are involved in that. Like, they're here to be part of healing the planet. That's their purpose. So I actually, them experiencing me as a healer is actually going to be really important for not just them looking up to what they can do, but also them sort of the osmosis of their own gifts. Because I've got another little girl in the pipeline who, like, her hands, she'll like be doing Reiki on the earth to like heal the toxins in the soil. Like, that's her healing modality. Yay. So I needed to hear all of that. I was hesitant to announce my news with everyone, but I'm like not really someone who holds anything back.
and also like, you can also utilize it. Like, so Derek, if you want to like put your pretty dog in way more posts with you, people will tune in. Like, just like I was kind of saying to Kelly, like, I love seeing Kelly's dog. Like, say that here's the shiny happy things. Like, allow yourself to have that. So like, if you want to share your pregnancy journey, not that you have to, not like, I've totally followed people who are just doing awesome pregnancy journey stuff, that are like showing their baby bump and like talking about things and being honest about it. Like women especially who are honest, who are like, hey, this is awesome and magical, and this is what just happened. Like, hey, these are what the books typically won't tell you. Like, I remember when I got into more like the healing spiritual world where people honestly talked about things, I'm like, there was things about birth I had no idea about. And like, most people don't even know orgasmic birth's an even fucking thing. And I'm like, cool. So I'm going to be a way shower for that. That'll be fun. But like, oh, and if you don't know anyone about orgasmic birth and want connections with that, we can also totally do that as a side thing.
Yep.
The other thing that's coming through is like a logic masculine structure piece, is that you can always tailor your program offerings to what's fitting you, which perfectly goes into the flow of like offerings and programs and packages that we're going to talk a little bit on today, and have as homework for everyone to like share what your programs and packages are, what you're currently thinking or what you're wanting to desire to move into in the group, so they can give you feedback and then we can do more clearings on those things. Because yeah, like, it's interesting that there tends to be a standard of like, if you're going to do a big group, it should be like, it should be this, it should be 3 months or 6 months or 12 months, like those kind of things. And it's like, you can also just do whatever you're called to. Like, even though it's typical for like a 6-week program or a 3-month program or a 12-month program, like those are more the typical standards. And you can be like, and fuck that, I don't want to do that. Like my next year program, like the logic thing that I'm being told to do is 12 months. And I'm like, yeah, but I also attract a lot of people who like are more my age range, who are kind of in the might get pregnant world. So they want to commit to something being like, cool, so I'm definitely not pregnant now, so I won't have a baby while I'm in this container. And like, for also me offering it as a coach to be like, cool, so I'm definitely not gonna have a baby on this plane while I'm in this container hosting it. Like, you can also make those whole things yourself and like just choose your own fucking rules and not do what the industry standards say, because it was also made by men who wouldn't be hosting the babies in their own body.
I think, I think the scariest piece is, not knowing how I'm going to feel, right? Not knowing what my emotional and spiritual, physical bandwidth is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly didn't expect to get as tired. I'm only 3 weeks in, and I did not expect to get so tired that I want to take a nap, that I'm like falling asleep on the couch at 5 o'clock every afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's definitely a lesson in honoring boundaries and self-care, and looking at what expectations I need to be setting for right service delivery. Because as you talked about, okay, I'm not gonna be pregnant for this service providing. And if I hadn't, like, if I had gone ahead with a launch already and this happened halfway through, like, I don't have to do that. Like, even though I'm having to factor in a lot more unknowns, it's I'm factoring in the unknowns kind of at the beginning. So,
and just for clarity, I meant like the 9 months being like, there won't be a baby here. Like, whenever I like have a baby on this plane, the baby is 100% my number one priority. And if I happen to feel called to anything else, I'm like, I might offer things, but I'm like, no, like, when I'm pregnant, I can like support people, but I'm like, I also have a lot more freedom in my schedule than most people do, especially at like starting at points in their business. So it's like, you also get to scale right now, if you so choose, so that you have something digital, so that when the baby is 3 months old, you can be like, oh, I'm just gonna like recycle this content. So like, anything that you make to create this launch, and this is good for everyone, like when you're launching something, make a Google document where you're having all the posts instead of it all just living on Facebook and you're gonna have to like go back and scroll a couple months ago and find it all. Like, literally save your content, even in case like Facebook goes down. Like, it's good to have content saved where you're like, okay, cool, like this was the sequence that I did last time. These were some really cool posts that got a lot of engagement. Save them in a Google document so you can control find on it, and then send it out, where it's like, you can just receive money. Like, I received $1,000 last year on vacation, or not last year, last week. Oh my gosh, I'm just quantum leaping so much where I'm like, what's time and space? So last week when I was on vacation, literally my VA just made a post that was like, here, last call. And I received $1,000 next time I looked at my phone for a digital product that I spent 0 time on, because it was leveraged. So you also get to like leverage yourself now, especially when you're in creative mode, and honor your body, especially like the first trimester. That's what like tends to be the bigger shift in your body where you're like, okay, yeah. So it does not surprise me that you're like, I'm really tired right now. Like, I didn't think it was going to be affecting me this all of a sudden. And it's like, yeah. Mm-hmm. And you also get to like have up-leveled boundaries right now. A lot of people who I know become mothers or like have like multiple children will become even more exclusive with the tribe and raise their rates a whole lot fucking faster because they're like, no, this is taking time away from my children. Like, you have to give me a ton of money to have any private access to me if that's taking time away from my own self-care or my kids right now. Like, no. And then they just do like groups and they leverage out in that. So you can also utilize this for all the amazing benefits it has and for all the other moms out there who are listening and the people who are going to become moms and stuff like that. Okay. Love keeping it all in a Google Doc. It's so nice. It's very smart. I did not do that originally. I'm now getting my VA to like go back and do that. Like, that's a really smart thing that other people do. So you guys can do that as you create content going forward. Is that feeling complete for that stuff that was coming up for you, Alyssa? Awesome, awesome, awesome. And I know, Kelly, you're gonna have to hop off soon. So did that feel complete with what you had shared in your video and then what you had shared here today?
Yeah. I still have like, or I'm having bumping up against some confusion about packaging and things. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, like I feel like I don't even know what I'm doing or what I'm going to be offering and things like that. So I guess I just want to mention that. And as you, because I know you're going to talk about money and packages moving forward. So yeah, and I want to stay accountable to post some things I'm thinking about
Yes.
as homework for the group.
Awesome. Yay. Sounds good. Okay. Cool. I'm just checking into the chat. There was nothing new there. Oh, the thank yous. Yay. I love all the love between everybody. Okay. So Robin also had stuff around packages and stuff. So let's go to the offer next. So if you guys want to just take a moment and think about what you really, really love offering to people, not what like you think is like, oh, gonna make you the most amount of money, or what some guru told you once, or what like a random Facebook ad was like, this is the only way to make money on the internet. Like, forget about all that for a minute. And what do you desire to offer to the world? What are you feeling called to? What excites you? If you have awesome experiences with clients right now, what do you want even more of? Do you want even more ideal clients like that? Are there any new boundaries that need to get put into place to support you in your energy? So just tuning into what you desire to offer. What feels like your soul's gift to the world that you get to share with your ideal soulmate client. And just connecting to that energy and noticing any other resistances coming up or any other thoughts as you connect to that. Just breathing into it. So do you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all resistances or confusion or heaviness around being stuck in your offering and around not knowing the nitty-gritty details, around not knowing if this is better than that, and any and all frustration that you've had in the past around trying to pick your prices or your program offers or your packaging or the format of it, that you can clear, release, and let go of any and all old junk or suppressed negative energy around that. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And you want to know what it looks like and feels like to co-create with yourself, the universe, and your ideal soulmate clients, the programs and packages that are the most supportive for you and them, that create win-win-win scenarios, and that you can allow yourself to flow in that creation mode, and that you can trust that this offer that you're called to share is the exact thing that your ideal soulmate client has been waiting for, is excited, ready, and able to invest with you in, and that it's time for you to create it. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all fears or self-doubts or imposter syndrome or fraud energy around not being able to have the investment that you desire with this, or feeling like you have to start it off smaller in order to actually get someone to buy it, that you can clearly let go of any fears, worries, and self-doubts around that, and that you can allow yourself to be intuitively guided as you offer this, and that you can utilize all of your gifts, tools, and experiences that you're called to within these containers of transformation that you offer to your client. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. Okay, so for homework for your offer, I'm going to get you guys to get really clear on it. So if you need to like sit in that energy more, if more stuff comes up around things to clear, we can definitely keep clearing that on the call right now. But yeah, definitely take the time to get clear on your package or program. So I'm going to invite you guys to start letting go of your like dollars per hour mold. So that doesn't mean that like all of a sudden tomorrow, if you've been offering mostly dollars per hour mode, you have to like switch on a dime. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just inviting you to be like, okay, if I lived in this world where I'm creating containers of transformation and a program that's super supportive in everything that my clients need, what's included in that? And write it out. So you guys can write out how many hours a month. Are you doing twice a month calls? Are you doing every other week? Are you doing weekly calls? Like, what's feeling good for you to offer? How many months is it? What kind of extra outside of that 1 hour call with you, or 45-minute call with you, or 90-minute call, whatever you're feeling called to support your people with, outside of that one-on-one experience over Zoom, or if you're doing in person somewhere still, you can do that. It's like, what extra support, if any, are you feeling called? Like, do you feel called to offering WhatsApp or Voxer or texting or email? Like, what feels good for you? Not what you think you should do because of the outside sources, like what actually feels good for you. Not what boundaries feel good for you around that extra support. So it's not like, oh, you get unlimited Voxer support. When people say that, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're headed towards burnout for people who are like energy leaking. Like, some people have good, very select people have good just energetic boundaries around that. I hear a lot more stories of people who are like, I said unlimited Voxer support, and this person is like messaging me 6 times a day, and they want answers like 6 times a day, and I'm basically spending like 20 hours a week talking to these people, and it's like, ah. That's a lot. It's like, that's not your intention of what the Voxer support was. So getting clear on what the energy behind offering them extra support, if you are offering extra support, are you offering any other pre-recorded modules? Are you offering any digital library that you already have as pre-recorded? Like, what feels like a supportive container to your clients? Are you doing private and group? Are you just doing private? Are you doing a VIP version where you have group and a VIP tier? Like, what feels good for you to be offering? So getting clear on those pieces. And then what investment level you're called to. So even if you want to be like, so my soul says this number, my soul says 5K for this package, and my human's freaking out, so I kind of want to start at 2K. Like, let me know those details too, because we can also just clear the junk around it, do any like actual healing that we can, and also work with like the conscious inspired action where it's like, cool, if you're going to gain confidence by selling your first one for $2,000, awesome, and then move up to 3 or like 2,500, like stair step up into your new rate where you're like, ooh, actually this feels really good. So let me know all those details in the group so that I can like see everyone's packages and pricing and stuff like that, just so that we can like start kind of like the money energy with me being clear with how you guys are currently ready and excited to receive it into your world as your businesses flow. So yeah, for Robin in particular, we'll start with you because you were like feeling a little bit off with the 2 offerings and stuff like that. So if you're able to unmute, I would love for you to do that. But yeah, for me in particular, like I feel really called to grouping it all because everything's super intuitively guided. Like, we're still going to do a body block clearing, and I'm not like, okay, everyone has to like invest in a separate program for me in order to have Reiki. So I understand that those also like flow really well together, but I've also had healers who get intuitive downloads or insights. I've had readings all of a sudden in a session and healing. So I prefer to work with people who have a variety of modalities or a variety of tool belts most of the time, because they can like pick up on one thing and be like, ooh, well, I have a really awesome tool for this here, and this is also coming up, so they can like support me in a number of different ways. There are some times when like I will particularly go to someone who's like a specialty in this, like for investing in like chiropractor or like naturopath. It's like, yeah, I specifically want this thing to get done. I don't care if you have a million and two other things. Although actually I do sometimes choose people who are like, I can do some body work and I also have Reiki, so I can like do a massage and give you some Reiki energy with it. Like I like when they do that too. But you get to choose. Like you can be someone who's like super, super, super well known for readings and like have a session that's just readings. Or you can be like, more often than not, people also need the healing when they have the reading and feel called to offer them both together for the same price. So that you're not like, oh, well, readings are cheaper, but I'm also doing theta healing right now. It just gets a little bit muddled. Okay. So Robin had said sharing knowledge, yay. Okay. Fear around being vulnerable in the public online, it feels. Okay, so Robin, are you able to unmute?
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing, love?
Good.
Yay.
Yeah, a lot of chaotic energy for sure.
Mm.
A lot of new stuff happening. So yeah, just feels like a little bit unbalanced and off.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned boundaries just now, like with people messaging a lot and like, yeah, doing more work than I feel like I need to be with people.
Mm-hmm.
So it just feels like training people kind of, I guess, how to, feels like respect me.
Mm-hmm.
Without making it dramatic.
Yeah.
And I wrote that down too, being present more. Like I want to be present with my friends,
Mm-hmm.
but I do healing, like I kind of get it intertwined. So still boundaries. Like a lot of my kind of friends kind of relate to healing, but then I end up kind of feeling like I do healing on them, or I can't help but feel their energy all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote down like protection and safety, like learning how to really, really protect myself so I feel like I can live a healthy life and live this lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Because I actually kind of acknowledged that readings drained me.
Okay.
So then I was like, okay, I like theta because I tend to get something out of it, like not financially so much as it is that I feel like I'm getting energy.
Mm.
So I'm starting to shift where I'm like, okay, I only want to do things where I get energy from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm letting go of a lot of like old, like icky feelings, I guess, around feeling like I have to do things just because I can. Like I have these healing abilities, but it's like I don't need to use all my healing abilities. I can choose the healing abilities that I'm in the mood. like this is the healing of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Like and I guess I might need to clear stuff around like maybe the feeling of like people not being okay with my changes.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like exactly what you said, like if it's a 3-month program, logically, like from a business standpoint, that's great, but if you're channeling like something different, then like I'm okay with that. It's just the standards.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's just like accepting that like I'm an intuitive and like I do what I want.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really still thinking about myself and others.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, anything that maybe comes up around like people not being okay with my changes.
Mm.
And it's like if they don't want to be a part of my, thing anymore, I'm totally cool with that. But I just feel like it's like how to put myself out there publicly and show people who I really am in an honest way, that I have like I'm like all coming from a good space. And like I see a lot of people that aren't.
Yeah.
And I am, and so that's where I need to protect. I feel like I have to protect myself, and just like I want to feel free. and I don't feel free right now in these changes. I'm feeling like it's, I feel that the doors are going to open, but right now it's like the in between of like I'm in one new door and I'm half out of another door, and I literally, if you want to see me right now, I am literally, here's a door
Mm-hmm.
and there's another door. And,
That's awesome.
this is my old workspace, trying to like go to my other job, my other place. So it's just like, it feels like it's just kind of like kicking some people out of my life, literally. It feels like
Okay, good, because I'm like, that energy was coming up and I was about to be like, do you want to invite cool, awesome healers into your world? Because I'm like, you live in fucking Moncton and Riverview. Do you know how many awesome healers that aren't going to expect you to like heal them?
Yeah. And, what's really great is like, since I've started this on a positive note, like
Mm-hmm.
I am doing online. I've like got all kinds of stuff out, service projects that I'm not doing anymore, which is going to give me more energy.
Mm-hmm.
I have like tons of people coming to my events. I'm like starting to reach out to local people and not afraid to spend money, like a lot of money, to like rent out large spaces, which means I can have even more people to host.
How are you feeling with it, like in person? Like, are you just super drawn to that?
I actually, like, I just had my last client, like right before I came on here. That's why I'm stuck in between doors. And I'm feeling really good about not having people in my space, and me choosing who's in my space, where my space is, how many people are in that space, and like just being in a little bit in more of control of the energy, I guess, with my environment. Yeah. So that feels healthy, but it's just, yeah, it's the space. It's definitely like the protection space is important to me, that I have sacred space. Because even in these groups, I find like my energy, just like I can feel everybody's energy. And so it's like, I know how to ground. It's just like, I'm not in control of other people's emotions, and it's really just like I have this tendency where I want to, like, I know what everybody's problems are just on here right now, and it's hard for me to like not want to help and just stand back. And it's a weird energy to be in that, like,
that's your work, to be like, okay, I don't see everyone as totally perfect, pure, awesome, amazing human beings on here. There's like problems to fix. So that's my savior, just wanting to fix everyone, because everyone has problems, and if I get to like fix everyone else, I'm out here not in my own skin looking at my things, because it's so much more fun. And I've been conditioned to like working on the people in the outside world because I'm an empath, and I had to like fix other people around me just to feel okay growing up. So it was like all the work you get to do, because I get it. I like so have been there where it's like, oh my gosh, all the things, and I'm like sensing all the energy and all the stuff to clear. And it's like, and that's my savior complex. That's my people pleaser. That's my these versions that are like, ooh, if I'm people pleasing and helping other people and working over here, then I get accolades. I'm like such a good person for like helping other people, and then I don't have to be with me and do my deeper work.
Kind of where the decluttering is coming up is, today I said, somebody was like, oh, do you want to teach this person Reiki? And I was like, well, yeah, I do, but I'm not going to. So I said no.
Boundaries.
But I still felt like there was this other thing where I could tune into that person's energy. And I'm like, I feel like she needs this, so she should come to my yoga. And I just left it alone. I'm like, I don't, like, I just threw my website out there, and then just like, that's just whatever, some random person that I don't need to worry about. And at some point, maybe I do.
Well, you never have to worry about them. They get to be someone that you love on in your container, or it's someone outside you in the world where.
I think that's what it is, because I feel so much that it's kind of like that pull is always there, right? If you feel people's energy and you can feel and all this stuff, it's to me learning, like you said, to just shut it all off. And I'm not a person to numb anything either, so it's like finding the balance between numbing and connecting, and when to push and when to
So have you been around when I've talked about the dial before? Because it's not numbing it out and being like, I'm cutting myself off from it. You can be like, okay, like the radio used to be pretty much full blast, and now I'm like turning the dial down so that I can sense like if there's
I just watched that video.
awesome. Okay, so did you do like say yes to all the downloads, or was there any resistance there? Oh, I think that we talked over each other. Do you want to maybe take your camera off just because that might make the connection better? Not that I don't want to see you, but I'm like, earlier it was clear. And we can also send good energy because right now your thing is showing up as red, which is sad. Okay, do you want to try again?
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Weird.
Super weird. We're sending unconditional love to the internet connections so that we can like hear you and like clear this layer coming off.
Okay. Yeah, I was just guided to that video actually not long ago, and I just randomly found it and I listened to it and it really clicked actually.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay. So how does that feel in your conscious brain that before you leave your house, before you go meet friends, before you go into the outside world, like you clear off any energy, like ground it? So I really like the clear, ground into the earth, pull up earth energy, fill me up, and then like protect. So love and light can come in, loving light can go out. And then having that dial where it's like, well, I'm not in my healer hat right now, so the dial gets to be turned down.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. It makes me feel emotional for some reason. So it makes me feel sad.
Okay, so why are you sad? What part makes you feel sad about it?
Part of it is like I feel like I have things that I'm supposed to do, like a mission here, and it feels like sorting through if that's really old, like past life. Like just some weird stuff around that like I came in with, or if that's just me also like you said, trying to be that like businessy, like logical person where it's like I need to, be cut and dry and like organized because I'm not really an organized person. So I'm trying to sort out if that's just old stuff that's in there, or if it's me getting in my own way.
Okay, so do you want to clear release and let go of that sadness and any and all other suppressed emotions coming up around that?
Yes.
Around you co-creating with all of your powers, all of your gifts, and your soul's mission, and that you can allow yourself to trust your intuitive guidance and your soul's wisdom above all else, and that you can clear release and let go of like the shoulds and the supposed to energy and allow yourself to truly flow from your inspired action. Would you like that?
Yes, please.
And you want to know what it looks like and feels like to be operating from conscious choice with your gifts, abilities, and superpowers, instead of feeling like you're defaulting from a past trauma response of being a child who had to fix everyone around you and got benefits from that, got love and connection from that, got praise and accolades from that, and that you can separate yourself from the unhealthy ways that you had gotten those benefits in the past and allow yourself to be open to having a full cup and receiving those benefits without you over giving or like self-sacrificing for them. Would you like that?
Yes, please.
Do you want to clear, release, and let go of the current layer? And this is for everyone as well, like the layer of like savior or like martyrdom syndrome of like, I need to sacrifice myself because I'm here with a big mission and I have to do this for the planet, and I like have to like save the world, and I'm the one responsible for it. All the weight's on my shoulders. It's on me. I like have to make it safer. Do you want to just clear, release, and let go of any and all energies at that frequency for yourself? And if you'd like that, you can say yeah.
That was big.
That was what, sorry?
That was big.
Yeah, and like I so get it, and I kind of just did a ton of downloads all at once. I used to like go through several like deep sessions in a row about like crying, being like, I'm supposed to do this big work in the world, and like I can't bring children onto it until we make it safer, and like what the fuck are humans doing? Like humans are destroying the fucking earth that they're on, and like all kinds of like deep layers of like savior and martyrdom stuff. So like I get it, I love you, I see you, I honor you, like, and everyone else who has this part coming up, like I so get it. And you guys get to choose how it best feels in your body to do that. And I was having a conversation earlier where I was like, And the way that that made sense to my logical brain as I was growing was like, okay, well, I still want to help all the people. So as I was raising my rates and as I was like growing my digital collection of things, I was like, okay, well, I have frequent Facebook Lives that I'm doing. I have the Love and Light show. I have content that's supporting for people. So if they're at like 0 and they can't invest with me right now, I'm doing that to support them. Now I'm like, okay, cool. So now people who are at the $20, $30, $50 level, I have pre-recorded programs for that. And at 97 and 597 and 997, like I have things at those levels for people who want and feel guided to the support in my world, who don't get to access me at the more exclusive one-on-one, because that is over time more draining to have people out of alignment with that, who are like wanting the freebies. And I'm really curious about you being like messaging people a lot. So I'd invite you to like put more boundaries on that, where people don't get to just like have you as like the free healer person. So that like if you feel called to, you can be like, hey, I have a really full cup today and I feel called to doing this. And it's a choice that you're doing, instead of like, oh, people are like energetic vampires trying to take from me. And then it feels like extra draining.
Well, that's been coming up, just intuitively guided towards like, even if I don't want to touch my Instagram for like 4 days, then I don't want to touch my Instagram.
Yeah.
If that's okay. Kind of what you were saying about like when you get back to your messages. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, there's so many things, and like if someone ever like gets upset about it, I'm like, okay, so I'm like, you could have just bumped it up. Like you made a whole story. And then I typically recommend people listen or read to the taking things personally section of the 4 agreements. This was like way when this like used to happen a lot. Like, and I had people in my world who like would take things super personally. And they're like, oh my God, that was so important for me to read. That was so powerful. And I'm like, and that's why that happened to happen, because you needed to know how to like read that section and not take things personally. But now in my world, I'm like, people assume that I have a lot of priorities and that I'm not going to prioritize like pre-Facebook messages. Like that's not something that most people in my world will expect from me now. Just like I'm not expecting Tony Robbins to be on his phone 24/7 answering comments on the posts that he doesn't even fucking write, like his team writes. Like you get to have a different energy about yourself, and not that you have to like shift into you now into like Tony Robbins level. But I just like that like it's Robbins healing right there. So it's like so like that energy of like just start to teach people how to treat you differently.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, because today I had as someone that wrote like a long paragraph. Whenever I see long paragraphs, I don't read it. I'm just like, okay, like red flag kind of thing for me.
Yes.
That's how I feel. And then I'm kind of like, yeah, I don't have time to read this like big
and
thing.
You don't owe anyone that. Just like for everyone on here, like literally your response to that can be like, hey, I don't offer coaching and healing for free. It feels like a lot of stuff just came up for you. I didn't read it, but if you would like to book a session, here's a link.
Mm-hmm. So that's exactly what I did.
Yay!
Yeah, so that was
positive.
But yeah, but I actually was like, I still read more than I would normally read, because I'm like, well, maybe I'm not catching something in it. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, well, should I be giving people the time of day to read things and like to have conversations with them, even from a networking standpoint? Like maybe it'll make those are little things I'm also skipping over, right? Like to actually read what they're writing down.
Okay, so like there's always extremes on things. So it doesn't mean like never look at your Facebook ever again. Like I've also had people who like randomly message me, and I literally just like had a download that I was meant to collaborate with someone, and it's like, oh cool, like they literally requested to collaborate with me when I like got the download from Creator being like, oh yeah, collaborate with someone in the next month. I'm like, oh well, that just showed up, that was awesome. So you get to do what you're called to do and not like the draining heavy things. So everyone can like have that as homework too, who feels called to it. Like reflect right now on the things that are making you feel drained or just heavier, stuff like you don't want to do, so that we can like release it next time and be like, okay, all these things, even if it's like a heavy thing like holding you back right now, post it in the group and we'll do a clearing on it, so that you're not doing these like heavy draining things, so that you can be operating in your superpowers, in your zone of genius, and from a full cup, and ideally overflowing.
And then the other thing that was kind of coming up is like, I'm like, I don't even want to post in the group because Laura's busy and I know what that feels like. So I'm like, even though I'm paying her what I consider lots of money right now, I'm like, oh, just like, am I being a hog? Like, am I,
No,
like,
I will let you know if you ever cross those boundaries. So everyone can feel free to post as much as they desire in the group. It doesn't mean that I'm going to like be on Facebook 24/7, like messaging you 2 minutes after you post. Although I did that, I think earlier today when someone like just posted and I happened to be online and doing something. But yeah, like I create specific time to go in the group and clear stuff, and like you're not hogging, you're not posting too much. In fact, I would like it if people post more about their failures and their hardships and their wins and stuff, because then I can support you guys more. And I will let you guys know if you're crossing a boundary of posting like 20 things today that like we already covered in the group and like you didn't go back and do your homework. Like if someone's posting 20 things and like actually just being a victim and like not doing any of the things that I suggest or not listening to any of the videos that I suggest, then that'll be like boundary cross thing and we'll be like, we'll have to talk about that. But that's not the vibe that I'm getting from anyone in this world. And the world that I've created, I'm like, I don't tend to get those people who are just going to be like, victim, this horrible thing happened, this horrible thing happened, this horrible thing happened, this horrible thing happened, and be like, I'm not taking any of your advice. All things are horrible. I'm like, I wouldn't let that person in the world that we live in here.
okay, wonderful.
Awesome. Yay.
Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome, love. Okay, so Whitley has a question. And then Alyssa just said, yes, 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 Robin. And I even had that I'm taking up too much space come up as I was talking on today's call. And like everyone gets value from everyone else. So like, I really encourage you guys to like notice the scarcity thoughts when you're like, she got X minutes with Laura and I got X times 4 minutes with Laura. Like it doesn't mean more, like transformation still happens. Like there's so many calls, even in groups that I'm a part of where I'm like, I didn't ask a question and I didn't really have a question. And like, the insights that everyone else got from asking their questions helped me. And then it like, oh, it created a question where I'm like, oh yeah, because of that. And I got clearer on this. Actually, I have a question now. And it takes like 3 minutes to answer my question. And I'm like, cool, that's like everything that I needed. It was so good. Like, and someone else took 20 minutes, but I got a ton of value from their 20-minute session. And then it like got me deeper clarity. And then I'm like, oh, I would like clarity on that little piece that was good for them, but is this also good for me? Okay, cool, 3 minutes, I was good. So it's like, understand that you're moving out of the like dollars per hour world of like, it's this amount of money per hour for like a cook and a chef in a kitchen to like do stuff, or like therapy or lawyers. Like those are, an hour of work is going to cost this amount of money versus transformational containers, which is what we get to hold as coaches and healers and mentors. Okay. So, taking up too much space in today's call. Cool. So yeah, take up space, show up, post in the group. Don't like, that's why I have the group things where it's like, don't expect a message back. Like I don't even have to any of my private clients, like even the highest elite, most high investment level with me, no one's getting an answer back within 24 hours. I will tend to reply when I have space and very quickly with more like in a resource place, I guess, is like the important thing, that I answer and I support my clients in a resource place, which is I feel way different than a fair amount of, particularly the coaching industry, will just be like, I'm drained and exhausted and I was going to do my own healing stuff today and I had some self-care planned, but my clients asked questions, so then that all got fucked and I didn't take care of myself and now I'm not moving forward in my business. And I'm like, no, I'm also a reflector. I'm like, me quantum leaping and me expanding a lot and me moving forward and getting more certifications and just like fucking holding more space and expanding more, but as a byproduct affects all of my clients in quantum leaping and changing and expanding more. So I'm like, that's also a priority, that I have those days and I do those things and it ends up feeding my clients even more that way. So I've seen people, like there's a million ways of doing a million different things. So always do what you're feeling called to. But that's why I have my boundaries and don't ever worry that you're crossing it. I will let everyone know if and when that happens. Okay. And then Derek said, I got lots of insights tonight without asking any questions. Awesome. And then Marcella says, yes. Awesome. And yes, I even had the, I'm paying a good chunk of money for this too, and feeling like I'm taking up too much of the coach's time for this. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. You're welcome, love. I wouldn't have outed myself if you hadn't said something. Yay! And always like, let me know. Like, I love it when my clients are like, so I got triggered by this, or I got triggered by your success here. Are you sharing like a client success story of them doing this over that? Like, let me know when you're triggered. Like, that's literally something coming up to the surface that you get to clear so you can learn the lessons, so you have space for the awesome new amazing thing that you're desiring to come in. Like, that's awesome. So anyone who's feeling like they're taking up too much space, do you want to clear, release, and let go of the fear that you're being a burden, a bug, or any and all past energy in this life or others where you've been shut down, where you've been told to be quiet or to not bother people, or that it's not important, or that you can't have that, like any constriction that got put on you from an external force, or that you started to internalize as, well, I can't have this and that, I can't have my cake and eat it too, I can't, like that closed off, constricted, shut down energy. And if you'd like to clear that on all levels and resolve it on a history level, you can say yes. Awesome. Okay. So Willie had a question, and then Marcella had a question. So I'm going to take note of that. Just that I'm catching everything in the chat. Cool. So the other thing before I move forward is some like abundant rituals, because I set my intention to share this in like bite-sized pieces as we move forward, particularly for this month, so you guys can integrate bite-size by bite-size instead of being like, oh my God, so many things, which literally we fire host in the 7-week intensive that you guys all have. So if you haven't gone and watched the mindset around, like, I think one's called Money Mindset, there's a couple of them, and like you can control find on the membership site, or the things around money. We did like a 2-hour call on it, and then like another half-hour video on money, because I was just like, all the things that all the people want, and I just like shared a ton. So that can be your homework if you haven't watched those before. If you're having some money struggles, like some people, especially with like the fear of credit card bills being high and stuff like that, like doing that section of clearing money blocks is kind of coming up for you to be like, okay, yeah, like look at the judgments I'm having, and like the panic in my chest and the body blocks that are coming up. So if those particular things around money are coming up, you can totally go self-study and do those pieces. But I'm going to share some like abundant rituals so we can start teasing that in and putting, like, if we're making a soup, like a little bit of that ingredient, a little bit of this, without overwhelm. Cool. So super, super fun things to do are like easy baby step. And this, I'm just going to share a bunch of different ideas, and you get to be like, ooh, that one's really resonating with me. And then you get to filter, is this a now thing? Am I implementing it now? Or is this a, oh, I'll start implementing it next week or 2 weeks from now or next month after this one's really embodied in me? So just take them as baby steps to integrate. Now, like, oh my gosh, so many things I have to do in order to make money, like one baby step at a time. So a really basic one to start with, which is so fucking powerful and most people like to overlook it, is gratitude. Like if you're talking to the universe, so people who've made like gifts for people before, for like cookies. If you're a mom baking cookies for the children in the classroom, and there's a bunch of kids that just grab them and run off, and a kid who's like, fuck you, lady, this is peanut butter and I want a chocolate chip. And this is actually like not warm enough and it should be melted chocolate and like blah, 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 blah. This is horrible. This is actually, I wanted 12 cookies today and you're only giving me one, like, fuck you, bitch energy. Versus like the kid who's like, oh my God, I got a cookie. Thank you so much for the cookie. It tastes so good. Oh my gosh, I feel so loved by you. Like, thank you for making me a cookie. Like, I appreciate you so much. Like, you didn't have to do that. And thank you so much. And like, I love this cookie so much. And it just tasted so good. And it's my favorite kind of cookie. And like, this is so awesome. Like, who are you going to give more cookies to in the future? And as the universe, are you going to like give more clients to someone who's like, I only have one fucking client and it's not even like my most perfect ideal client and like fucking sucks, and like versus like, oh my gosh, I get to serve my soul person, and like they were divinely guided to be my client at this time as I'm working with them, and like I'm calling in more of them and even better, and I'm using this contrast to create even more clarity in my messaging because I understand that I co-created this, and like I get to call in even more people like this and then have groups and leverage it out and help even more soul clients. Like, it's so amazing. Like, as a universe, what are you going to desire to support people with more? It's just frequency, it's energy. So I invite you to be more in the gratitude and like deeply feeling the gratitude. Not, like if you're at a place where you're like, I'm not really grateful at all right now and I just need to like baby step it, Write down 3 things that you're grateful for. Think of 3 things that you're grateful for. Then the next deeper layer is like feeling it, feeling how grateful for like your life, your business, this moment. Like if you literally woke up tomorrow and you'd only have what you took time to be thankful and grateful for today, how much more time would you spend being grateful for every single thing around you? Like look around you. Like if you forgot to say, I'm so grateful for my mom or your family or a friend, they wouldn't exist tomorrow in your world. You would spend so much more time being grateful for everyone and everything around you. Oh, that's super powerful. Awesome. So gratitude, super, super, super powerful. Begin to integrate it every single day in your life. So that could be a starting point for a lot of people. Also, get in like a full cup, self-care, grateful state energy as you're listening to your like life vision statement, as you're like saying it out to the universe, as you're looking at your be-do have list, as you're visualizing and calling in your dream life, your dream clients, your like manifestations. Take the time to be in that really good energy because that's how it'll be brought to you in. Also celebrate more. Celebrate all the things around you, good or bad. Like also when I go through my gratitude, even if like shitty things happen, I am so grateful for it. And I've done this for years where I'm like, thank you for this lesson. I don't fully understand what this lesson is yet, but thank you for deeper clarity on the lesson I'm about to receive. Thank you for having this, and I'll talk about silver linings, like have gratitude for so many things. Another really cool thing to do is actually like creating thank you notes. Like I know with COVID, people might not really want to get mail right now, but like you can like spend 2 minutes and like text someone or send them a quick Facebook message or email them like a thank you note. So taking that time to just, again, deepen into that gratitude and connection for what you do have right now. Doing embodiment practices, so similar to like the breath, which you could literally, like it doesn't have to take like 5 or 10 minutes. Like you can just be like, and then I got to breathe again. And I wasn't terrified that if I exhale, that if I send out air, that new air wasn't going to be there. I trusted that. So that will happen with people with next clients, next paychecks, next investments that are coming in, like whatever. And it's like, what's actually more pressing as a human being? That your next breath won't be there within the next 30 seconds? Or that the next paycheck won't come in? What's actually life and death? But what do you actually tend to be more afraid of? And we're not walking around every day being like, don't exhale, the next breath might not be there. We're not in scarcity around that. Why? So why are we scared around money, which money is energy that humans created? Like literally, this is an energy that we all just like decided, let's make paper. Let's make the paper an important thing. And we all just decided collectively that this has $100 value because we said, like it's an energy that we can trust will just continue to flow if we so believe, if we choose to have those belief systems. So having that intention, even just like quickly within yourself, even before like a sales call, like to trust, even before like, and we're going to do more things around like money and bills and stuff, like, but a basic thing on that is just like, okay, cool. For every dollar I send out, 10-fold returns to me, 5-fold returns to me, 2-fold returns to me, 100-fold returns to me, whatever you're feeling called to. And then a little bit of what Kelly was talking about earlier around like money dates, like have a money date once a week or every day or multiple times a day to be like, ooh, I love seeing money. Like if money was your lover, how much would you want to connect with it? If money was your like dream lover, passionate, ideal life partner, whatever you want to call them, like what kind of relationship would you have with them? You wouldn't be like, oh, we check in like 3 times a year. And I want it to be a flourishing, passionate, highly romantic, deeply fulfilling and nurturing, expansive experience. It's like having a like 4-minute conversation 3 times a year with any person on this earth probably isn't going to give you that level of love and connection and deeply satisfying, intimate connection. So it's like, okay, how do you get to show up for money in that relationship with them? Another fun thing is writing a check to yourself for the amount of money that you're desiring for like the month or year, and like having that as something that you're seeing. Some people literally like write on like, so if you get American money, it's like $1 bill. like we have loonies here in Canada, so you can't really do it with a loonie. But if you have like a dollar bill, you can like write extra zeros or something on it, and have that around your house and be like, I'm receiving this. This is flowing to me. This consistently flows to me. And like, again, all of these are just ideas. Don't be like, oh my God, I have like 20 things for homework. Another thing which I love that I'm trying to think of who did it in the group today, who was like $3,000. So like claiming it, like claim your money, be like, I am receiving this. I am ready and open. Lavinia did it. I'm pretty sure it was like $3,000, claiming it, like claim it, post and share to other people, not to the people who think that you're fucking insane and who are like total in disbelief, who are just going to like stamp on your little sprout. Don't necessarily share it with them. Share it with other people who are here, who are going to believe in your sprout before it gets to be the big trunk oak tree where someone could walk by and be like, this isn't real. This isn't a real oak tree. This is crazy. And it's not actually going to affect it. Nurture your little seedlings before. So claim it to yourself. If you're only claiming it to yourself, claim it to the group. If you feel called to sharing to the group, anyone else who like believes in you and who's like there to support you, you can claim it to them. And then like other like physical things that are just like fun to have around. So like, be like, money is real. Like, it's not just like numbers on a screen. Like, I also used to think money was really dirty. So maybe like get a fresh looking bill at the actual like bank instead of just like one that looks like crinkled or like whatever. Also in Canada, we have like plastic, so you can like wash them if you're like having that level of like OCD about touching bills. But being like, I love money loves me, love money, it loves to hang around with me, it's not bad or guilty or wrong. And we can again go deeper into like future calls around junk around money and our perception around money, or you can do clearing money blocks even deeper with your current awareness. Other fun things, like there's crystals. I always have citrine around me, I love that. I have essential oils because I'm like, I also love supporting my body. So like abundance oil. Yay! I love Derek citrine. So pretty. Abundance oil is so good. Okay. Truth bomb. Love it. Okay. So those are the main things. So you guys can like kind of pick from the buffet of abundant rituals to do. And just one baby step at a time, implement it. Look at your calendar, start putting a couple of them in there. Sometimes when I get a ton of really good ideas at once, I'll literally book out for the next 2 to 3 months. Oh, okay, on this date, I'm gonna start implementing this. So that it's not like, oh, I have 20 things that I wanna do all at once, which typically never works out well. To be like, okay, cool. One baby step at a time, free flowing that way. So then to do laser questions for Whitley and Marcella, before we jump off, if you want to unmute yourself, Whitley. She's on here.
Hey, Laura. Oh, yeah, no, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Cool. Yes.
Awesome. By the way, I love all the money rituals. That's super helpful. And yeah, I think the gratitude one is really powerful. And I think that when I start, I need to start doing that again because I haven't been for a little while. But even like sending out like notes of appreciation and like cards and stuff like that, or like calling somebody up and like just giving gratitude to people, and just giving too. I feel like that also opens you up more to receiving.
Yes.
So my question is that you, like, everybody knows that I moved to Ontario, and like that huge shift really, I guess, kind of like, it felt like I like was at a standstill. So I really had to like park the business and stuff like that. So like anyways, my life was sort of just on
did you
pause.
still work with clients during this time?
Yes.
Okay, stop telling yourself stories. You're like, a big thing that you do and you just get stuck in your head, which is why I'm just gonna like stop the story before it gets deeper. Like, you're like, I'm starting a business fresh. You did not this year start a business fresh. You've been building and planting seeds for years, love. Like, honor that in yourself. Like, allow yourself to be grateful for it, to celebrate it, and to see it. Your business did not totally take a standstill. You were working privately with clients in September, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so just that we're like clear that was just a brain story and not even real.
yeah, and you're so right. That's just like a story in my mind that I've created. Okay, so how do I describe this? I just wasn't feeling on top of my game. So I wasn't actively going out and
And
seeking
you're going to be
new
interviewed on a
clients.
podcast. Oh my gosh, you're getting opportunities coming to you. Okay, why can't it be that easy? Like, why do you have to beat yourself up?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird because I don't even realize it. I'm sitting here helping my clients go get through their own shit, which I'm like, I'm still doing this. And I don't realize it until you're calling me out on it right now.
And I know that you like need that more energy, which is why I'll like shift energy between people. Like it's just like, oh yeah, like this frequency is just coming through for you, which is why I'm saying it like this. So yeah, like, oh, I love Priscilla's like, I love you, like, and Derek's like, I've been there.
I love you guys.
And I've been there too, where like I'm like being like, it's not enough because I've already moved my goalpost to the next thing. And like my actual coaches will have to like pause me too and be like, so a year ago when you wanted to do this, you've achieved all of these things and more, and now you're just like wanting to quantum leap more and you're not fully, like, we tend to do it as human.
Yeah.
So like allow yourself to be human. Know that we fuck up and we make mistakes, and we tend to still have like those deeper layers of inner critics that'll beat ourselves up, and we just get to be aware of it, love ourselves, and then just clear it. So do you want to clear, release, and let go of this heaviness of feeling like you're still not good enough, that it's still not working, that you're still stuck, and any and all old attachments that you have to that energy of it being hard, of you getting stuck, and it can't be that easy for you. Do you want to clear those? And this is for everyone else too. Like other people have the like, this can't be this easy vibe going on.
Yes, very much. Yeah.
And do you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all past excuses or limiting beliefs that you've like clung onto because it's become normalized into your identity, that you can clear, release, and let go of that identity within yourself so that you can expand fully into this new level of yourself, and that you can give yourself grace as you do so without always needing to be like almost like the fastest. So what I'm getting is the energy of like being on a treadmill, being like uphill inclined and being like, I'm gonna like run this, and just like feeling like you always have to do it. So it's this like hyper masculine energy vibe of like it always has to be like this. So do you want to just clear out anything in that frequency related to that? Do you like that?
Yes. Yeah.
Because it gets to be easy, because you get to be on vacation and receive $1,000 after being in a goddess circle. Like that was super fun to like receive. And like I literally get to embody this. And the more you embody your feminine right now, the more you like love it and like post in the group when you get stuck, or when you're like, oh, this isn't as fun, and like I have resistance to just being in my feminine and like allowing myself to integrate to a new city and a new school for my kids and a whole new friend group and a whole new everything. Like a massive upgrade just happened in your life. And instead of being like, oh my God, I'm digesting that big chunk of the elephant that I just took on, pretty full right now, but like I get it being in the super seeker overachiever mode, because I can be like that too, and that'll lead to burnout without like harmonizing it in with the feminine and being like, okay, cool, I just up leveled a ton,
right,
and I get to receive from that up level now and be like, okay, well, what am I feeling called to do? So if you're like, I was feeling really called to do this and I'm not, that's a different thing than I feel stuck because there's all these head stories that aren't even real, that you're just used to saying on repeat, that it was like this old broken record that we've now and released and let go.
Okay, so I feel like that gives me some clarity, but I just want to ask this because I just went from being in like hyper masculinity energy because of the move, and I was feeling as though now that I'm starting to like things are calming down now, and I am beginning to be settled in. I'm feeling like that pull, like I'm feeling like I need to get clients for a couple of reasons. So obviously for monetary reasons. And then the other part is like, I just feel ready to get back at it and to be serving. So I was like praying, doing my meditation, just asking for guidance on what the next step is for me. And the biggest thing that just stood out, it was like rest. I was like, no, this isn't right. I can't be resting right now because I need to be like moving and working toward growing my
Okay,
business
so
and
you're
stuff right
literally
now.
told what to do is rest. Like you and Derek should probably like hook up as like rest accountability partners for the rest of the week. That you can like celebrate at the end of the day that you like sat on your ass and didn't do things, or that you like napped, or like that's also coming up for him, and he's also like private client, so I know different things. Like that can literally be a thing. And anyone else who wants to like get in on this, where you can like make your own, or just like post in the Facebook group and tag each other, like. Oh my god, I was just thinking that too. I love it. I
Derek,
love that it's just like all the brainwaves. And Alyssa too, if you wanted to, be like, I just supported my body all day long and I slept in bed. Like literally have that as a thing.
Right. So here's the other thing. Okay, so here's the other thing where the confusion comes in.
Mhm.
So literally right after that was just like, God, give me a sign, give me a sign, give me clear like validation to letting me know for sure. And I jumped on a call with one of my other coaches and we had a really great conversation, and she basically like laid out the next step for me to take in my business, and it felt really good. And for the last like 4 days, I've just been feeling inspired to like go and do this like promotional sequence to a workshop and to bring in more clients. Like I have like a plan mapped out in my mind and I feel super inspired and I want to work on it. But then like part of me is like, if I put all this work in and energy in because I'm like operating from my masculinity and it's not actually guided, then I'm going to do this for nothing and burn myself out. So I'm just
remember
like,
how you did that right at the very, very, very beginning of our container together, and you're like, this didn't work. And we discovered that when you reflected on it, it actually wasn't inspired action. It was like the I have to be doing something energy. Do you remember that?
yeah.
So your homework also will be to reflect on that energy, to reflect on, and this can be for anyone else who's called to this too, like reflect on your energy to get clear. Okay, when I was guided to do something in the past and then it didn't actually get me the end result that I desired or anything near it, and I was actually a negative experience, okay, what if I reflect on that? That actually was an intuition. Like that could be a trauma response. It could be I'm not good enough. It could be a story of comparison. It could be a trying to keep up with the Joneses. Like figure out like, oh, actually that came from the energy of, well, she's doing it, so I have to too. And it didn't work for me. Okay, how did that energy feel in my body? How did that show up? Versus when you were called and drawn and magnetized and pulled into something that your human might be like, oh my god, this is so much fucking money. Oh my god, this is gonna be like my up level. I'm gonna shine so much brighter. People are gonna see me. Ah. And when you stepped into that container, it worked for you. It got your view results and more. It got returns on investment and like fucking like moved you forward and was awesome. And you're like, yeah, that was so good. It was even better than I thought. Oh yeah, and my human freaked out at the beginning because humans kind of do that when your soul has really big missions and visions and things that you're stepping into. So then notice that in your body. Okay, how does that feel when I'm on like this, like I'm leaning into what my soul's guiding me to do? Like there's this like deep knowing and sense and like knowing that this is going to work out and like pulling and calling for yourself. Like how does that feel in your body? What stuff comes up for you then? So then when it comes up in the future, when you're like making decisions about your launches, investing in yourself, big life moves, all the different things, all the choices and decisions that we get to make, then you can be like, okay, so if I connect to myself here and not numb out and be like, oh, all these other things or these stories outside of me, actually, this feels like a good idea, but it's later. Like maybe this launch is like, oh, it's a later thing. It's a next week thing for you. Or like 2 days from now after you actually take off 2 days for rest.
Right. Yeah. Right. I think that's the other thing too, is like the duration. Like when I hear rest, I'm like, well, how long am I rest? I'm losing out on time right now. So, okay. So when you say that, I can already feel in my body, because I'm like, if finances were not a thing right now and I was good for a few months, then I would take time to rest. I think I would take time to rest. I would take this inspiration that I have right now and plan, but I feel like I probably would rest.
Do you want to clear release and let go of the scarcity and allow you to truly align with the action steps, both on the feminine and masculine side, that will be supportive for you, and that you can allow yourself to trust your intuition more without questioning it and self-doubting it? Do you like that?
Yes.
Because you can also be like, okay, if I hadn't gotten in those head stories, if I had rested when it first came through to rest, if I had rested for 5 hours and actually followed that inspired guidance, and then my step after that was like, go down the street to someone who would sign on as a $2,000 client, like that would be way more supportive for you than being
Yeah.
like in such resistance to your next step and questioning how long it's going to be and being impatient about it, right?
Right.
And this isn't just for you, like this is for a lot of other people. Like this is me at my next levels. Like this past trip was like, hey, do you want to go way deeper in your divine feminine flow? Like I keep doing really big trips where I have like really deep dive feminine, and this one literally was like, we will not give you the next step at all. Like usually look at like a couple things where I'm like, well, I can plan like lunch, I can like know where I'm gonna like meet a friend, and it was like, we're literally like you just have to like show up for the next step that we're giving you, and that's the only thing that we're doing. I'm like, huh, this is interesting. Like way deeper level of like, where am I sleeping today? Well, you're just gonna trust. Okay. I'm like, okay, well, and I got fucking epic, super luxurious, upgraded like hotel room. Because I trusted, and I literally did my next step regardless of how insane it seemed to my human.
See, that to me, I'm like, that's amazing. Like to just be co-creating step by step.
Yeah.
As opposed to like having to plan and control every variable along the way.
Yeah. Okay,
That feels
so
a little
rest. First step, then you can celebrate in the group that you rested, and then tune into your next piece, okay?
okay. Thank you.
Yay, you're welcome, love. Okay, and then Marcella, hyper laser, for your question, please. If you want to unmute yourself.
Hi, loves.
Hello.
Hi, beautiful people. So I love having been able to listen to everybody today. I want to, Lord, I'm gonna have to post in the group because it's like two things I have. One about the move, like the next step in my life, right? To be like, and I've heard you, Laura, talk about like manifesting dream places, and I want to be able to manifest that dream place, and I definitely want to continue to clear, like to be in that feeling of gratitude and abundance, because this was big. Like yesterday I made my first 4K day. It's huge. I know. I know, so big. And I want to everybody, thank you for the love, you guys. Like I was like now you're catching me like tired. I just tucked my son into bed as we're listening. But yesterday I was like on top of the world. Thank you, Derek. Yeah, I was just like, it was like, and what I did, Whitley, just so you know, I literally Monday, so Laura, you and I met from KBB. And this weekend there was like the KBB World Summit. And so I did that, and it was amazing. Sunday I had a like come to Jesus moment, but Monday I just went into self-care. I was full on self-care. And then a friend from KBB was like, oh, you need to sign up for this sales marketing bootcamp, whatever, Melissa Ricker. I don't know if you've heard of her. And so I'm like, oh, cool. Let me check it out. And I signed up. I heard one class, and it was like the thing that helped me snap into like getting over my fear of like the sales call, because that definitely like a failure, which I still have to clean up. And I probably do need help from you in clearing that up, which was like, I took on like one of the first packages that I upgraded. It was so awkward. It was like virgin sex awkward. It was like so awkward. Like like we didn't have the discovery call. And then like, she was just like, I just said, like, just bring the client. It was awkward. And so then it was after I had to tell him. So it felt terrible. It didn't feel good. And now I feel like I have to clean up that mess. So I had that sitting in my heart, and it just didn't feel good. So I want to clear that up, because I feel like I want to over deliver. I want them to feel so good about the investment. But then the beautiful thing is, come Monday, after the event, after that training call that I heard, after the work we've done, after the grieving ceremony, which I'll tell you about that also in another time, but I released so much. And then I had 2 calls that I had to follow up with 2 people, and I was like laser focused. Like I was able to tell them, like, it was incredible. Like one call was in under 5 minutes. Like they were a yes. They were a hell yes in 5 minutes.
Yay!
And the other one was like a 20-minute call, also a hell yes. Like these people were so happy. And so I was like feeling amazing. But the incredible thing, and what I wanted to clear tonight was, what I noticed yesterday was I started to feel this level of happiness, and then I started to feel guilt.
Mm-hmm.
I started to feel guilt, and I started to feel bad, and I was just like, I'm like nervous energy, you know, like I don't want to bring anything back. Like I was just like, oh shit, like I'm not allowed to be this happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's not supposed to be this easy. Like that came up. And I have to tell you guys real quick, all of you, this is so crazy. So I did the grieving ceremony, and when I did it, I want to thank Whitley, because like she and I were talking about it and encouraging each other and supporting one another, and I was like feeling so much resistance. So when I finally do it, so much anger came up, and I was like, ooh, where's that coming from? And then I'm like in the kitchen cooking, and I literally have the thought, I was like, what is up with this fear of being seen? And I'm like, it's like, I feel like sometimes it's like not even this lifetime stuff. Like I'm like, sometimes like it's like ancestral trauma, and I'm like,
Yep.
I'm like, what if like, I'm like, I swear to God, I'm like I wouldn't be surprised if like I were burnt at the stake in another life. And 5 minutes later, a cousin of mine calls me from Texas, and she's like, cousin, I found an ancestor of ours that was burnt at the stake, her and her son. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, wow. And she was burnt alive because she was Jewish, and for practicing, like she was practicing her religion, like hidden. And so that was like, okay, like I had like this full body physical reaction, like, whoa, this is very strong. And
also like, thank you to your human who's doing this work. Like, and everyone else on this call who I'm sure has done multiple layers of this work. And for me, who's like been there, like I feel you, like this gets really heavy, and it's like not even our fucking thing. This is why like doing this work, even ourselves, is like fucking priceless for humanity's transformation into a loving place and a more healed place. Like, so you get to honor your human for all the things that you're doing.
Yeah, like it was like, again, like I stopped beating myself up. And I think a lot of us do that. Like we beat ourselves up, and we're so frustrated with ourselves, and we're so hard on ourselves. And sometimes what we don't see, the bigger picture, is we're healing lifetime things. We're healing humanity things. Like we're doing that work. And so I think like when we're more loving and gentle, that like it's our healing is so much bigger than just us. I think like we can like move through it, like go through it, you know, with more grace and ease and love. So it's just been a lot of movement and transformation. So come Monday, you know, like I was sharing with you guys, these things happen. Like I felt like there was a snap, right? There was a turn. But I definitely feel that, like, again, and I shared that thing that my cousin called me to tell you, because it's like, it's this fear. It's the fear of being so happy. It's the fear of being seen. It's the fear of speaking up. So that's one thing I would like.
Yeah, we can just clear all of it.
I'd like to clear that up. And the other thing is like what I said about like really being able to manifest a dream place. Like, I don't want to make any big decisions right now. I have to move, but I definitely want to let my body catch up to the expansion and just like relax and settle into the abundance, the peace, before I make the next big decision about where I'm, like, the property I'm going to buy. And then, and the belief system about being able to launch a group program. Like I feel like I'm so excited about the one-on-one clients, and I'm so excited about the transformation. But I guess I still have nervousness. I have nervousness around how do we transfer. And again, you have been such a beautiful golden star for me to like to see it's possible. And what I've loved personally in this container is I've been inspired by all of you guys. I've been inspired by everybody showing up, by everybody putting themselves out there. Like I was more willing to forgive myself for like this last failure, like that, like I wasn't able to like have that clarity and that, you know, in talking about my packages. because they were an old client and it was just like a gray area. But I forgave, like I was just like, stop, let it go, move on. Like you, it's okay. Like you're going to have another opportunity. Right. And so when I did the next ones, I was like, yes, like I can do this. And so I've been so inspired by the group. It makes me believe like it's possible, right? Like the beauty and the benefit of the group format is like beyond what just the one-on-one, because sometimes in the one-on-one, it's so easy for us to just get stuck in ourselves and ourselves and ourselves. And in the
It's
group,
the whole thing where it's like 1 + 1 does not equal 2.
exactly.
And then all the like expansion.
Exactly.
And I was like, oh yeah, I like will get to that space. It's 2 spots ahead of me. That's cool that that's already cleared. Or oh yeah, I actually wouldn't have admitted that. Thank God someone else just did. Oh, and now I get to like see that it's me too. It's everyone else is here. Okay. So I'm going to address a very deep underlying pattern. And I know that I've like talked this, we'll just clear a like deeper layer of this. And I also get it because sometimes we can distract ourselves with the human's thought of like, well, there's this thing and then this thing and then this thing. And it's like total similar vibes with Whitley. It's like, okay, well, I can't support you with what's going to happen in 2025 because that's not there yet. And you can just clear what's coming up today to like not have those potential issues in 2025. And it's like, why are you making plans out for like bad things happening instead of just being like, oh, well, what I'm guided to in this moment, and I trust myself and I trust my wisdom and I trust my intuitive guidance, my highest self. Oh, I'm being called to this one next step. So instead of being like, what if this and what if that and what if that, like you keep getting overwhelmed by things. So like the underlying issue of the things is like the head stories instead of just like deeper inspired action. We're like, oh, I got that intuitive hit to talk to these people. And it got to be that easy. Like how long were you putting off making those offers at 2K?
My God. Do you know like how, like, you know how
I know.
we've been,
so I'm
you
just
know
like,
how long we've been going around on this.
Yes. So I'm just bringing awareness to your conscious brain. We'll do some clearings on it. That we're not actually going to like do a bunch of conscious pieces for all the next pieces because it's like, or if you just move in inspired action and do the 2K thing because that's the one next step for you, then everything else gets to be easier instead of being like, what are 50 things that I can put on my to-do list that'll make me really overwhelmed? So I'll be in my nervous system of overwhelm, which I've normalized. That it can't be that easy, that it has to be that hard, that I have to do 50 things before the easy 2K sales happen in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
With hell yes people.
Yeah. With
so
hell
just
yes. Like
allowing yourself to be even more aware of that. So do you want to clearly let go of this layer of the overwhelm pattern that's come up, of not trusting yourself and not trusting your divine timing and order, that you can just clearly let go of this pattern of overwhelm and needing to have more steps and needing to have it as a bigger picture before you move, and actually creating even more stagnation in yourself by questioning all these things and trying to figure out the puzzle pieces when they're not meant to be given to you yet. Do you want to clear that?
Yes.
Okay. So when it is time for you and you are actually feeling called to manifest your dream home, you can go into Manifesting 101 and get super clear on what your dream home looks like. Create a be to have list that has all more information about what you have in your home.
I love
Go
that.
deeper
Yes.
at this level version of yourself who gets to receive even more money and even more ease. And then just listen to some of the clearings. Not that you have to do the whole program. Be like, oh yeah, I did those modules, and don't do don't let your good girl be like, I have to sit down and do 4 hours in a row. Just be like, Laura instructed me to not do every single module here, to just go to the thing that I'm intuitively called to do, to manifest my home on the day that I feel called to manifesting my home, not on the day that I feel called to rest. Okay.
Yes, I love that.
So then do you want to just clearly let go all of the energy around constriction or abundance or feeling like it can't be this good, that you can clearly let go of any and all self-judgment and criticism and failure and mistake energy around it being awkward on your sales call, that you had a failure in some way, and that you can know what it looks like and feels like to clean this up in a way that's both supportive for you and others. Would you like that?
Yes.
And you want to clearly let go of any and all other shame or guilt or negative energy around having success or wins or wealth or money or being happy or at a new level compared to other people in your world, other containers that you're in, depending on the areas that you're in, like that you can just clearly let go of the fear of being your bright self and continuing to expand even more, and that you can clear, release, and let go of any and all tendencies of needing to be the biggest fish in the pond, and allowing yourself to start in new ponds that are even bigger as the little fish, so you can quantum leap and expand and grow through that energy. Do you like that?
Yes.
And you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all new levels around your fear of being seen or being burned at the stake, of being hurt or harmed, or being attacked or targeted for being different, for being spiritual, for being a healer, for having a different viewpoint or belief system than others, and that you can clear, release, and let go of this on all levels, and that you can also resolve this on a history level, and that we can send unconditional love and healing energy back through the ancestral line and forward through any generations that move through you as well. And if you'd like that, you can say yes.
Yes.
And you want to know what it looks like and feels like to trust your divine timing around your group launch, and that you can trust and support yourself with moving one baby step at a time in inspired action on your journey. Do you like that?
Yes.
Okay. So we can integrate all of those changes for everyone. And I can offer you guys general healing for any and all other areas of your body, life, and business that are ready to be healed right now, and fill you up with your higher powers, unconditional love, compassion, peace, and prosperity. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And take some deep cleansing breaths. Okay, so are you feeling complete? You muted yourself, I'm assuming. Awesome. Yay.
Thank you. Yes, that was
You're
amazing.
welcome, love. Okay, so we'll do homework really quick. And I'll minimize this so we can actually see it. So continue with lead generation. Like, we're planting seeds, and it's important to be like, okay, if I'm always planting seeds and not always needing to be like every single second of every single day, or every single day of every week, or like every week of the year, like just more devotion to your business, devotion to bringing in your ideal clients. The more you plant the seeds and you nurture the soil, the more you're going to be able to harvest now and in the future. So continue doing any and all lead generation that you feel called to doing. So Facebook Lives, content, social media stuff, webinars, challenges, podcasts, all those fun things, when and if you're called to doing it. The people who need to do rest, that is your number one priority. Just know that everyone has unique stages that they're on, and if you're on rest stage, you get to be in rest stage. Okay, so also sharing your offer in the group. So anything that you have right now, anything that you have feedback on, so the like actual practical like human consciousness of like what's in your actual like offer, what's valuable about it, what benefits and pain points you're helping people with, like whatever details you feel called to sharing, you can share that. And the stuff that's holding you back, where you're like, my soul feels called to having a package that's $2,000 pay in full, and I'm freaking out about it. So like, let me know, and we can clear all the things. And then implement one of the abundance rituals that I talked about. So you're not like, all the things. Choose one, implement one. Let us know in the group, so you guys can post right now in the group what you're choosing to do for your homework. If you're choosing to do the rest homework or anything else that you got from this, let me know so we can all support each other. And I really encourage you guys to be like active in the group. Don't feel like you're like taking up space or anything like that. I promise I will let you know. There's like no boundary crossing. Like, I will let you know if you're like in those energies. No one is like anywhere near those walls right now. So like, show up, post your wins, post your failures, celebrate the failures, celebrate like, I went so fucking far out my comfort zone that I like did something and no one showed up, or I got like 0 engagement on the post. Like, celebrate those as well. And then for our next call together, you can also celebrate your wins in the group. You can prepare them ahead of time. And challenges or blocks you're having, you can let us know on the call. And I believe our next call is a hot seat call. So then we'll have space for everyone in the round table then. So that is all of the homework. Sending you guys all so much love. And I'm super excited to see all of your celebrations, all your homework, and all your amazingness and challenges and all the things in the group. Bye.